shockingly accessible. With a few keystrokes, we can know the dates of wars, the theories of physicists, the anatomy of the human body, or the names of distant stars. Knowledge, in its essence, is the collection of facts, data, and observations. But wisdom is another thing entirely. Wisdom is not something you can search for online or extract from the archives of libraries. Wisdom can't be memorized or regurgitated in the same way that knowledge can. Wisdom has to be lived, and it's this difference, this immeasurable gulf between acquiring facts and embodying truth, that I want to explore in this video today. You see, wisdom is hard-earned. It's not delivered in neat parcels or distilled into clear formulas. It's born from pain, wrested from struggle, and carved into us through time. Where knowledge can be learned in comfort, wisdom demands discomfort. Where knowledge is gathered quickly, wisdom unfolds slowly, almost agonizingly so. And this is because wisdom isn't just about what you know, it's about what you understand. Understanding comes at a cost. To truly understand the depths of happiness and joy, you need to have faced sorrow. To grasp the complexity of love, you must have known heartbreak. To appreciate the value of trust, you must have felt the sting of betrayal. Wisdom requires you to live through these things, to endure them, and to emerge on the other side changed. It demands that you break, and in the breaking, rebuild yourself. Imagine a young person filled with curiosity, eager to know the world. They read voraciously, absorb lessons from every available source, and seek the counsel of their elders. This is a noble pursuit, and their efforts should be celebrated. But despite all their accumulated knowledge, there are truths they cannot yet touch. They haven't faced the sleepless nights that come with loss, the gnawing uncertainty of failure, or the aching loneliness that teaches us what it means to be human. They know many things, but their understanding remains incomplete. Why is it that wisdom comes through suffering? It is because wisdom is forged in the crucible of experience. It's one thing to read about resilience in a book. It's another to find yourself standing in the ruins of a shattered dream, forced to summon courage you didn't know you possessed. It's one thing to study forgiveness as a concept. its lessons. Heartache cracks us open, exposing our vulnerability and revealing the limits of our strength. It forces us to confront truths we would rather ignore. That love is not always enough. That people are fallible. That not everything in life can be fixed or controlled. In this way, heartache is a kind of cleansing fire. It burns away illusions, leaving behind the raw material from which wisdom is born. But wisdom doesn't come solely from sorrow. It also comes from the passage of time, necessary elements for growth. It means learning to hold two truths at once: that life is both heartbreakingly fragile and breathtakingly beautiful. It means understanding that we're small in the grand scheme of things, but significant in the lives that we touch. A wise person knows when to act and when to wait. They understand the value of silence. They understand the power of words. And they understand the importance of listening. They aren't immune to suffering, but they've learned to let it soften rather than harden them. They don't cling to certainty, but they trust in their ability to adapt. They've faced enough disappointment to know that joy isn't a permanent state, but they savor it when it comes, knowing that it's all the more precious for its fleeting nature. And maybe most importantly, wisdom teaches us compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. When we've suffered, when we've failed, when we've faced the raw and unvarnished truths of life, we begin to see the humanity in others. We understand that everyone is carrying a burden. Everyone is fighting a battle. Everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have. Wisdom dissolves the barriers between us and them, revealing the shared vulnerability at the heart of the human condition. In this way, wisdom transforms not only the way we see the world, but also the way we move through it. It allows us to forgive, to let go, to prioritize what truly matters. It teaches seekers